All right, guys, so now I'm back from the hardware store and picked up all the supplies that I needed. What I want to do is show you guys exactly what I'm going to be making today. Now, this is another type of shelving, not like I did last week, which was a floating shelf. This one is a little bit different. This one is somewhat of a mix between a rustic wood and also black pipe. So it kind of gives that little bit of an industrial feel to it, but not necessarily fully industrial, as if you were using metal for the actual support and also metal for the shelving. So in this case, it's going to be wood and also some black pipe. I'm going to show you guys exactly what I'm going to be using so you guys can pick it up yourselves. Depending on the size that you want to use, will all depend on how many pieces you're going to need. I'm going to be using a 8-foot piece of wood today, but I'm going to cut it down to 6. I don't want an 8-foot piece of shelving. So I'm going to cut it down to 6, and I'm going to show you exactly what I have here in terms of hardware. 6-foot shelving for this one, and also another 6-foot shelving right above it. So let me show you guys what I got. So as you can see, right here I have 1 foot by 3/4 inch black pipe. These are floor flanges. They're 3/4 inch floor flange. And what happens is they get connected right here. Perfect connection. You just screw them on and they're good to go. I'll show you exactly what I mean. Put it here. And voila. That's how it's going to stay. But of course you can go down all the way till it stops. Then you're going to screw in all 4 of these, and you're going to do the same thing on top. Screw that down, screw to the top of the board, and you're good to go. So for this project, you're going to need 4 of the 1 foot by 3/4 inch pieces, 16 of these floor flanges, 3/4 inch, so they match up. Another set of 3/4 inch by 5 inch pieces of black pipe, and you're going to need 4 elbows, all 3/4 inch. And you're going to see why, because these are actually going to be the support. So this will actually go to the wall and support these shelvings. These pieces here are all going to be just for the aesthetics of the actual 2 shelves that are going to be together. So that's what we're going to be doing today, guys. Hope you can follow along. It's going to be a really cool project. I think you guys will really enjoy it. It's something that you can do on your own spare time. Simple project. And hey, if you have a rustic look that you're looking for in your garage, maybe your basement, or in wherever you want it to be, your bar, this may be something that can work for you. So stay tuned, guys, and I'll show you exactly what we're going to be doing step by step. All right, guys, so I want you guys to take a look at something that I did. I specifically got a rustic, older looking type of wood purposely, and this is how it was made in the store. So when I bought it, it wasn't an old piece of wood or something like that. They made it look this way. Now, if I wanted something clean cut, something that is a little more fashionable, then you get something like this. It's very clean. It's very smooth. There's really not much to it. And you can see that there's no knots inside of it or anything. This one, which we're going to be working with today, is different. If you look, you can see it's rough. The surface is rough. We got knots in it. There's waves. It's almost like it was made that way. It's even got dirt marks in it. So the purpose for me to buy this like this was because it actually has the look that I'm looking for. It's old, it's rustic. Now I can make it look even more rustic. I can take a torch to it, burn it a little bit, make it look weathered. I can stain it with some dark stains in different areas and make it look old that way as well. But for now, I'm going to leave it natural the way that it is, and we're just going to put the shelf together. And later on, I'll probably go ahead and go over the stain to it, which I'll show you guys how to do in another video. Take a look. Now I don't have the 12-inch blade that actually slides. So I have to flip it around and do it this way. So far, just for now, until I buy one. I'm thinking about getting one soon. I got so used to it, I cut these things with no problem. And now, I have my 6 foot. So what I want to do now is I want to space out my piping evenly. So I know that I want to have one here and one on the other end. So I have a 6 foot piece of wood right now. So what I want to do is kind of split that a little bit. Okay, 6 feet. I think 1 foot in on each side will be fine. So I'm going to take it there. Okay. Also, take my square and I'm going to go in. It's about 4 inches. Actually, we're going to go 3.5. And we'll do it. My drill. Now you guys are going to want to use you can use zinc screws, they call them sheet metal screws, but I've got the 100 pack. These are your 10 by 3/4 inch. And the reason for that is because if you look here, the hole for each one of these 4 flanges has a little bevel inside of it. So you want to make sure that you get the screws that are beveled as well. They call them flat screws. And it will sit real nice and recessed inside of this hole. So make sure that you pay attention and get the right screws, because if they stick up above there, it's gonna take away from the look of the design that you're looking for. So unless you want it to be that way, but trust me, it looks really nice when it's nice and flat. Another thing to keep in mind, guys, is make sure that if you have a 1-inch piece of wood like I do not get a screw that is 1 inch or more. It's going to protrude out the bottom side of it, and you're going to actually see the screw. So stay under the 1-inch mark. In this case, I have 3/4 inch screws, like I explained before. Just avoid the problem, because if you get just any screw, you're going to wind up having to do this over again. Take a look at that. That's how it should look. It's recessed in there on all 4, and it's going to keep this nice and flat. Okay, guys, so now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be installing the 1 foot by 3/4 inch pipes. So here, we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to thread that in. Remember, you can do it just hand tight. You don't need to get a pipe wrench and really torque it down. All you gotta do is make it hand tight, and that'll be enough. What you do want to do is avoid getting any wood inside of the crevices of your threads, because that can cause an issue for you when you're threading this out. Plus, it's oily, so you want to make sure that it stays clean. Okay, very good. Now, okay, very good. Now, we take the next piece, since we've already established both pieces of pipe on either end. Now you take your flange and you put it on top. And it's going to look just like this. Now the cool thing about doing this is that once we do this, all we're going to do is we're going to get the other piece of wood, cut that down to 6 feet, flip this around right on top, screw it down, and you're good to go. I mean, this is really an easy project. You guys are going to really like it. Not to mention, it gives that nice industrial look. So an industrial look with the shelves is really kind of a thing that people are experimenting with a lot now. They look really good in bars. They look really good in a man cave, which is where this is going. So if you guys don't know, I do have a project that I'm speccing out right now, and it is going to be for the cigar lounge that we're working on. And so stay tuned for that, because that's going to be coming real soon. Let's finish this up. This is what happens to your hands when you're dealing with black pipe. Gross. All right. So now we're at the point where I'm going to take this off. I'm going to take another piece of wood, cut that down to 6 feet, and then we're going to do the same process as we did this time. A little advice, if you guys have wood that's left over from any project, save it. 2 feet, 3 feet of wood, never get rid of it, because this here in itself is an additional 2 feet of wood that I can use for another project. Same thing with this one. I now have 4 feet of potential project wood. I mean, I can make more shelves if I want to. I can do another project out of this besides shelving. I can possibly make something to hold stuff inside here, make holes for maybe seasoning or whatever the case may be. Whatever it is, don't get rid of wood that you can reuse. Now, if it's only 6 inches, 7 inches, and if you want to get rid of it, sure. But this stuff is good. Don't get rid of it. All right, so we have the additional 6 feet. Before I actually move forward with doing that, I want to do something first. Now, this is going to be supported on a wall. So what we want to do is we want to establish the support. Right here we have a 5-inch piece of pipe, 3/4 inch as well. And what we're going to do is we're going to place a flange on the wood on either end, and we're going to establish the support that's going to go against the wall. So what you need to do is you need to take your flange, and in this case, I am going to bring it in the same distance. I'm going to keep it at a, actually, I'm going to do it at 16 inches. So 16 inches on center, all right, with the wood. And just so you know, this piece of wood that I'm working with is a 1 inch by 8 inch, all right? So 1 inch by 8 inch and by 8 feet. So 1 by 8 by 8. So this is what we're going to be dealing with today, or what we are dealing with. Now, I'm going to put this in the center. So right now, I have here 7.5 inches. Now, just so you know, remember I said it's 1 by 8. It doesn't mean that it's actually 8 feet. It's not always like that. I mean, not 8 feet, 8 inches. Remember, like I said before, 2x4s are not really 2x4s. They're 1.5 by 3.5. So throughout the production of this, they'll call it 8 inches, but it's really not. It's an even number that they like to use. Instead of making it 1 by 7, because technically they can't say that, because it's really 7.5 inches. They say 1 by 8. Technically, it's 1 by 7.5. So we're going to split that here. So let's make it right in the center here. 3, okay, 3 3/4. I think that's fair. All right, and that's going to be 16 on center. Okay, we're going to do the same thing over here. 16 on center, and make sure that we're at quarters. Remember, guys, always double check your work. Make sure you're on point. You don't want to make a mistake. Very good. Okay. So we've established that. Now we're going to take the elbow, and when we fasten these two down, then we're going to take the elbow. The elbow's going to go in place, which I'll show you, and then the pipe's going to go in place. So let's fasten this down first. Now, take your elbow, and you're going to twist that on. Okay, now we're going to thread on the 5-inch piece. That's the good thing about establishing the 5-inch piece, because then you can actually turn it some more. Alright, nice and hand tight, and then we're going to turn it again. I should be able to get another full turn out of this. Whew! That's a workout. Alright. Now we're going to put these on. These are our floor flanges for our industrial shelving. I hope you guys like this, man. I mean, if this is a project that you're enjoying, hey, I've got more work coming, more projects coming, more projects like this. You know, hit that subscribe button, comment, leave me an idea if you like, but please subscribe. It helps me out and it keeps me going with more projects. Alright, so now you can see where we're at with this. This is basically going to sit like this, right against the wall, and on top of it, now remember we're 1 foot in, so that's perfect right there. We're 1 foot in, and we should be the same over here. Good. All right. Now we're going to set this up so that it's on a nice flat surface. So let me go ahead and move this back, get all this stuff out of the way, and then I'll set it down so that we have a better area to work with. Matter of fact, you know what? We don't even have to do all that. Let's just turn this out of the way. So to make sure that it's nice and square and it's straight, I'll just go ahead and take this piece of wood, make sure that they both meet at the same place. That's good right there. Same thing over here. I'm just going to make sure that these two pieces of wood meet. Very good. Okay. Now, as you can see, we have the shelf almost ready to go. What I'm going to do is take it another step further, and we're going to include another support on the second shelf that's going to go on the wall as well, just so that as it's holding, what I plan on using is to display liquor bottles and probably my cigar box on there and things like that. We want to make sure that this is not going to go anywhere. Alright, so what I just did there was I took the same measurements as the one on top, which is going to be against the wall, and I basically put it so that it's identical. Now what you want to do is you want to make sure that from the edge of the wood all the way to the end of the flange is the same distance. Same thing over here, same thing here, and same thing there. So you want to make sure that's the same distance. Also make sure that if this is 16 on center, like I made it, this has to be 16 on center as well. So when you put it on the shelf, it's flush and even. The most important thing that you want to establish with this is because you want to make sure that it's not going to be wobbled or leaning one way or the other, or leaning forward rather than being exactly straight and perpendicular like it's supposed to be. So let's go from there. I already marked each hole and each hole here, and so the whole thing's going to stand perfectly vertical. I said perpendicular, vertical, and it's going to stay in place. And I'll finish off with you guys with this. Let's go ahead and screw this down first. So that's what you want to do, just so we have the steps in place. Screw this flange down first, then put on the elbow right in place, and then we're going to put our 5-inch piece of 3/4 inch pipe. looks like I'm gonna have to use something to torque this around a little bit because it's tight and I have this bar that's already in the way. Okay. So I have it in place now, and basically, if I'm you, what I want you to do is make sure that you have somebody to help you put this up. So what I did was I had somebody hold one in, and I screwed in 1 or 2 screws, and we're good to go. So essentially now I'm just going to put in the rest of the screws, and we'll be good to go. But I want you guys to just see how this is made up. Again, we have the black pipe here. You have the black pipe here that's individual, giving us the space that we need. And essentially we're just going to be putting some bottles up here, a couple of other items. But just so that you guys can see for yourself, this is a rustic looking shelf, and it's very, very easy to do. It's kind of has that mix between industrial and rustic, and that's the look that I'm going to be achieving in this man cave anyway. So it works out well. So if you guys have any questions, comments, again, please subscribe. It helps me out and it keeps me going with more videos. And if you have any questions about this particular video or any projects that you have in mind that you'd like me to tackle, let me know in the comments below, and make sure that you hit that little bell on the right side of the picture, because then you know when my next video is coming out, and it could be the one that you asked me to do. So hope you guys learned a lot on this one. I actually had a lot of fun with this. It's the first time that I went and tried this project out, and I think that it worked out really well. I will say that if you want to take a torch to this and give it a little bit of a burn look to it, you can do that. I am going to do a video on how to do that safely and properly in the near future. And if you don't want to do that, you can always just go ahead and stain it to whatever color you'd like, or just kind of brush it on. It doesn't have to be perfectly even, and it'll give it a nice weathered look to it as well. So if that's the look that you're looking for, then that's what you definitely want to go ahead and try to do. But again, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. And today we just got done doing an industrial shelf / rustic shelf. If that's what you want to call it, that's what I call it. So hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned, guys, for much more videos to come, and I'll see you guys soon on the Alex Honeydew List channel. Have a good one.